Me and Jack was passing out flyers in Frankfurt and in Lexington today as a part of our Z-Day event, and also as a part of our I keep a monthly event passing out flyers in Lexington and Frankfurt to keep some activity going there, and was able to put the Homer's Road analogy to work again on the guy. And we was talking to a guy, passed him out a flyer, and he was like, I gave him a little bit about the movement, and I was like, well, have you ever envisioned a world without money? And he said, no, the money makes the world go around, and that's a common fallacy. Money does not make the world go round. Man makes money, and then we tell each other and tell ourselves, and we place money into a position that it seems as if money makes the world go round. And going back to the Homer's Road analogy, I asked him, do you have any kids? He said, no. I said, well, when you were a kid and you lived with your parents, did your parents charge you for the food that they fed you and the clothes that they put on you? He had to say no. And simply using that same analogy as a home, as inside of a home, we recognize that we're one family. Expanding that to the world is one home. We don't have to pay the ground to grow food for us. We simply, create the proper conditions. Put some seed there, put some water there, the sun is constantly falling, food grows. You don't have to pay the ground to grow food. We don't have to pay the earth to provide metals that we use to build things and gems that we use to make things. It's simply there. Man takes those resources, puts them inside a store, and says, I will not give them to you unless you give me money. And man makes money, but it's become so much of a staple of our society that we erroneously believe that money makes the world go around when it doesn't. Money is an illusory construct. It has nothing to do with the actual running and essential function of the world at all. If you take a videotape, if you just videotape the world, let's say you videotape the workings of a city for one day, and if you take that video, you'll see people, doing all kind of things that involve money. People will go to the store and buy things from the grocery store. People will get in and out of a cab and pass money, go to the movie theaters, whatever they do. If you take that video and you airbrush out money, and everyone did the same exact things they will do, everything can still get done. But if you take and airbrush out food, then the people will starve. If you airbrush out water, people will dehydrate. But you can airbrush out money, and the resources are still there. So, and that's the relevance of the Homer's Road analogy. Just like in the home, once you bring the food there into the home, the resources are there. On the planet, the resources are here. Money does not make resources. It simply benefits the few that have the most money to keep and control the people that have the least money, but yet do most or all of the work. The few people that have the most money don't do anything to have benefit. Like Peter Joseph had the interview, Who is Peter Joseph? He, illustrated how people can have money, and if you have so much money and put it in the bank in an IRA or something and get interest on that, someone can make thousands of dollars and just have the money sitting there, not doing anything to help the planet. Whereas the actual work that's providing the food and providing the electricity is being done by people that are being paid scraps and are fighting to pay their bills, all in the false monetary system. In a resource-based economy, everyone can have everything they need, because the resources again are here. If you airbrush money out, everyone still has everything they need. So that's just to speak a bit more on that analogy. I encourage you to go to our third meeting that's online. There's a video entitled Home as Road Analogy that gives the foundation of that analogy, and you could extrapolate that analogy on, and it just continues to make sense that the earth is our home. Us as one people, all we have to do is simply utilize the resources that come free from the earth. Either they're sitting there like they're metals, we just need to create the proper conditions, like planting seeds and putting water there. It simply grows, no money involved. We're the ones that impose money senselessly. We don't need to keep doing it. And we have the technology to where people don't have to work. People can be free to basically apply themselves instead of using 1% or less of their brain power, doing a repetitive act that a machine can do. We can be free of all that. Do you have anything that you would like to see expanded upon on the Homer's world analogy, Jack. And by the way, we have Jack with us, our Louisville coordinator, and we have Ryan here with us as a guest, checking out our meeting. Awesome. That's a good point. One thing to keep in mind when you use the Homer's world analogy, and again, you could use this video as well as refer to the video from the last meeting, the ZMKY4 meeting. The video is entitled Homer's world analogy. I'll probably entitle this section Homer's world analogy 2 or something. Keep it simple and make sure the person keeps it simple, because the thing is, our financial system is very complicated. And it's complicated for a reason, because the people who are in control can complicate it and keep us mired in complication while they simply stay in control. But the Homer's world analogy is very simple. You know, it's not about the fact that, okay, yes, your parents didn't have to charge you for food because they, he worked a job and made a lot of money. Or it's not about who made the house. It's not expanding that analogy. It's simply the fact is, in the home, there are certain resources that's there. You know, however they got there, according to the analogy, is irrelevant. Whether your parents bought it, a neighbor gave it to you, the resources are there. Just like the fact on the planet Earth, the resources are here. The metals that we use to build things are there. The wood that we use to build things grow from trees. They simply grow. They're there. The food that we make, we plant some seeds, put some water there, it grows. No money is involved. Same thing is like in a home after all the resources get in. When I walk into my kitchen to get some food, I don't have to pay the refrigerator. There's no one standing in my kitchen to take money. The resources are simply there. So that same analogy is a home. Within the home, no money has to change hands for resources to be utilized, for resources to be shared among family members. Just like on a planet, the resources are there. We impose money on top of that. You airbrush money out, the resources are simply there. We could simply create and utilize machines that in an automated way prepares and grows the food. Just like nowadays there's machines that, picks cotton and corn and all this stuff. We could expand that automated technology to everything and simply utilize the resources that are there in a harmonious way with each other. It's not complicated. You don't have to go any farther beyond the analogy of within the home there's no money needed. We just, in the home, they just work together to keep everything going. In the world, we can do the same thing. Just like inside a home, it's their home, their family, they work together. The earth is our home and we're one family. And that's one of the things it seems that people in power do. Like I saw a video where a military personnel was talking about he disagrees with the war in Iraq and was saying how racism is used in the military against the Iraqis, just like racism was used by Hitler against the Jews, and racism I read somewhere was used against the Indians to make them out to be such savages or something, and to help justify taking their land. So it's a great divide and conquer thing, But really, we are all on one planet. The earth is our home as one people. Just like inside any average everyday home, it's just a home and everybody inside works together. Just like everybody in any home works together without having to pay each other to do anything. Just as simply, we can all decide to work together and not have to pay each other to do things. And we can allow the people who want to have their illusory money to drown in it, And eventually, I think everybody will recognize that it just makes no sense for anybody to have that separation. Just like how a parent won't feel good or satisfied or happy to see their kid in the corner starving. Eventually we'll realize that anybody on the planet that's starving, that's being starved by the economic system to in tons of debt and having their resources stolen, it doesn't really help anyone. It's not good for anyone, and it's not a good reflection of the human race.